Hi, my name is David Morrison. I'm a space scientist at NASA Ames Research Center. For the last 2 years, I've been answering hundreds of questions from the public about 2012 and the supposed threat to Earth. And so now I want to take a chance to talk to some of you more directly. There is no threat to Earth in 2012. There is no danger. All of the talk about a doomsday is a big hoax perpetuated on the internet and with people trying to make money. So please don't worry about it. Let me talk about some of the specific things. There's been a lot of talk about a Planet X or Nibiru as a giant planet that's going to hit the Earth or at least come very close in December 2012. Simple fact is Nibiru does not exist. Aside from worrying about the weird places the ideas came from, all you have to do is ask the astronomers. If Nibiru or Planet X were going to come into the inner solar system in 2012, astronomers would have been tracking it for the last decade, all over the world, amateur as well as professional, and it would be visible now to the naked eye. It's not there. It's a no-show. There's nothing to worry about some object coming and striking the Earth or damaging scientific interest. There's also been concern that somehow the Earth's poles are going to flip. No one quite explains how this could happen, and if you're talking about the rotation pole of the Earth, that can't change. It never has and never will. Some people, however, are concerned about the change in the magnetic polarity, a shift of the North and South Pole, which does take place every few 100,000 years. But there's no reason to think it will happen in 2012, and actually no evidence that it would do any harm to us, even if it did happen. Some people couple this with ideas of solar outbursts, of flares, or coronal mass ejections, which could do great damage to the Earth. Well, the solar maximum takes place every 11 years, and occasionally there is some damage to satellites in orbit. And we see bright aurora or northern lights here, but very little real damage is done. And there's no solar maximum predicted in 2012. The next solar maximum is predicted for the spring of 2013, and it's actually anticipated that it will be much lower than usual. Again, all this 2012 talk is just a hoax. It's a fake. It's nothing you should worry about.
Galaxy.
Modern astronomers concur with the ancient Mayans. On December 21st, 2012, the Earth will be in exact alignment with the Sun and the center of the Milky Way galaxy. A galactic event that takes place only once every 25,800 years. No one knows what effect this extraordinary alignment will have on the Earth, but the Mayans believed it would be dire.
It might be kind of like a crossing over of the kind of galactic equator. When you go below, south and north, magnetic currents will spin in opposite directions. It might be there's a kind of field effect reversal that takes place once you pass through this galactic equator.
Geophysicists have a theory that is strikingly similar to the events predicted by the Mayan alignment. This phenomenon is called pole shift, in which the entire mantle of the Earth would shift in a matter of days, perhaps hours, changing the position of the North and South Pole, causing worldwide disaster. Earthquakes would rock every continent. Massive tsunamis would inundate coastal cities. It would be the ultimate planetary catastrophe. As unlikely as this theory seems, it is backed by science. Albert Einstein first suggested it in 1955. And a new study from Princeton University reveals that the poles have shifted before. The North Pole rested in the middle of the Pacific 800 million years ago, placing Alaska at the equator. Even if this pole shift took place slowly over years, it would result in global climate change and shifting sea levels. If it took place rapidly, it would mean planet-wide disaster and mass extinction of species.
One of the most interesting cases that are these mammoths that are frozen in the Yukon or in Alaska. frozen in the muck and the gravel of that area that still have food in their mouths. The flesh has been preserved in the ice, so that actually when they were dug out, when they were digging for gold, they could actually feed the flesh of these animals to sledge dogs. Whatever happened happened suddenly, as for example the tilting of the axis of the earth and freezing them right there where they were found. Why did the